you'll see much more next week when we bring our very special Halloween item to you. That's going to be on October the 30th, and you've seen little bits of previews of it, but we have a magician, and we have some wonderful characters, and we're going to show you those characters in a minute, but first I want to introduce you to the creator of the characters. His name is Mascott, and he's with a company called Laffmasters.
Yes.
And welcome to the program.
Thank you.
And you don't have to be scared. It's Halloween, but you don't have to be worried.
But I'm not wearing a costume.
You're not wearing a costume, and you're not hiding behind makeup or anything.
That's right.
I know. But you do have a wonderful time creating the characters that you do. First of all, why did you get into the business of designing the characters that we're going to see in a minute?
Well, I think mostly because I'm still a little kid.
Mm-hmm.
And I really enjoy watching the faces of little kids when they laugh and how they experience the characters. I was a magician for 9 years, and I guess...
You're a performer. You're a bit of a ham, aren't you?
Sure. Yeah, a real ham.
When did you start getting into magic?
Seriously, when I was 15.
Uh-huh. And before that, it was the card tricks and the try and fool your mum kind of routine?
Right, the stuff out of cereal boxes.
Yeah, right.
I also got into escapes and close-up magic. Clown magic, actually, and the clown character that was just shown on the monitor was initially the character that got me started into making costumes.
So having that kind of extra fun with these characters. But magic being one of the things that you're tied in with, and then the escape artist, that side of what you do as well, which is kind of interesting. You've been suspended in outhouses, burning outhouses above the buildings.
That was the more serious thing.
Was it? Were you trying to get into Houdini, sort of a Houdini-alike imitation?
Not even close. I was trying to really kind of characterize or make fun of the way that Evel Knievel would go about doing his things. When I did that escape from the exploding outhouse, I had my animal characters pull me out onto the soccer field in a 37 Chevy, and they pulled me out of the car in the straitjacket and kind of crazily dragged me over to the outhouse and threw me in it and lit up a giant fuse as the outhouse was being raised into the air, and it was done as a really humorous stunt, of course, until after I escaped from the straitjacket and emerged from the burning outhouse and it had exploded already. I was sliding down the rope kind of to my victory of escaping from the straitjacket, and about 30 feet up, the rope snapped, and I fell and landed on my butt. But I walked away from that.
So funny.
No, it wasn't funny. I squished 2 vertebrae in my back.
Yes.
But I did succeed in escaping from the straitjacket.
I remember a commercial that this station did once, and the individual was riding a motorbike off a ramp and over about 3 or 4 cars or something, and we're filming it, and the guy missed. And he got up like you, and I think there's some kind of adrenaline or something that makes you just get up and say, I'm okay, and walk away. And then about an hour later, you discover that I'm not okay. I've got a few broken ribs. And
that was exactly it. I was checked over also at the hospital in Edmonton. They told me I had 1 squished vertebrae, and when I came back to Kingston, they found out I had 2. But the adrenaline made me stand up and walk off the field.
Yes. Well, the adrenaline, I guess, is what keeps us going. Let's talk about those colorful characters that we had in our studio the other day, the more humorous side. Now, first of all, the first character you mentioned was the clown. Now, was he something that you, in fact, designed the costume and then created? And if so, what was the reason behind that?
Initially, I didn't construct that costume. I learned how to make costumes with that character. It was designed so that I could do magic shows at the Eaton stores in Alberta, and my face would constantly break out from wearing stage makeup.
So, okay, so you made some changes.
He has a zipper on the back of his head.
Now, this is Spike.
Spike is my main man. He was the second character that was made. He was also made in cooperation with the fellow who taught me. And then I made him Gooby's magic assistant, which is the clown's name. And he was the mascot for the Edmonton Trappers. The characters following that were put together for the C&E. And they were actually designed for the 1984 National Exhibition.
And the people that are wearing our costumes today, now where do they all come from?
They come from different areas in the work field. Some aren't actors. They're ordinary people, I guess. They're not ordinary in what they're doing here.
Right.
And
that was an unordinary you again. This is a unicorn, right?
Yes.
Fabulous. Actually, lots of fun. But one thing I must say is those costumes are hot. Very warm, aren't they?
They're not near as hot as they could be.
Is that right?
Being made out of foam rubber and I've put as many ventilation holes in as I can. They don't sweat too much. But when it's like being inside a Ziploc and doing up the top of it.
Well, I was talking with someone the other day about a costume. I think it's a kangaroo costume that has a fan in the head because the costume is so hot. So what they've done is they put a fan in the actual head so that that way the person won't get too hot when they're running around. Because sometimes they have to be in them for hours.
Yes, if I could put a fan in the heads, it would help out a lot. The ventilation holes, the air can get out.
Oh, that's how you blow up. Fun, Rock. I want to thank you very much for coming by today, talking to us about the characters. Next week, on Tuesday, of course, we're going to have you back again in some respects, perhaps slightly disembodied because you'll be one of those characters. That will be our Halloween special, so come back next Tuesday and you'll see just what those characters did for us and a little bit of magic that